Welcome to New Hire Corporate Compliance Training. This is section 4 of your 5 videos. For this part of our training, we will be covering transportation rules and background checks. If your position is designated to drive for Easter seals, or your supervisor determines you might need to drive for Easter seals from time to time, like for training or errands, you must be an approved driver. To be an approved driver, you must have a valid Florida driver's license and current Florida auto insurance. If you use a personal vehicle, it must be in safe working order. Your supervisor will initiate the request for your Easter Seals driving privileges, and then you'll receive a written confirmation of your approval to drive. Do not assume you are approved to drive even if you're asked until the written confirmation is received. And do not assume you can drive if you are not submitting a mileage reimbursement request. It is still not okay to drive unless you've been approved. All Easter Seals drivers must stay in compliance through yearly renewals which are initiated by headquarters. If you are driving for Easter Seals, it is important to remember there is no texting or cell phone use when driving a company vehicle. No texting or email use in any vehicle. It's against the law because you are valued. Did you know that using a cell phone while driving delays a driver's reactions as much as having a blood alcohol concentration at the legal limit of 0.08%? Most of us have done it. We know it's unsafe, but it still happens. And we get mad at other drivers who do it and cause our driving to suffer. So commit to driving without texting, email, or surfing the web because we want you safe. And if you are a supervisor, remember not to call your employee when you know they are driving. We take this seriously. We do not want our employees, clients, or others put in harm's way, and we do not want any employee to think that their life is worth risking. You are valued. Now you are an approved driver and something happens. What do you need to do? And you might ask, am I not going to be able to drive anymore? Well, no worries. This handy sheet will answer your questions. So let's say, do you need to report to Easter Seals when you have a ticket or a moving violation in a company vehicle? The answer is yes. Do you have to report if you're in your own car? No need. Accidents. If you have an accident in a company vehicle, do you report it? Yes. Do you report it in your own car? Only if on company time. Arrests. If you have an arrest at any time, do you need to report it to Easter Seals? Yes, every time for any reason. So what should you do if you have an accident? First, seek emergency medical treatment if needed and immediately contact your supervisor. If you cannot because you are hurt, please have someone do so on your behalf. If you are in your personal car and have an accident, your personal vehicle insurance coverage will be responsible for costs associated with the accident. If you are in a company car, a copy of the procedures and forms must be kept in the glove compartment. For all accidents, you will need to obtain a copy of the accident report from responding law enforcement officers. Ensure you follow the transportation policy instructions and complete all required documents. The transportation policy for accident reporting and all the necessary forms can be found in your corporate compliance policy manual or in the corporate library. Another very important part of our transportation policy is the transportation of our clients. In order to safeguard our clients, but our employees as well, no transportation of clients is allowed in personal vehicles, owned, rented, or borrowed for any reason. If a client needs emergency transport for medical reasons, staff need to call 911. If a client needs non-emergency transport and the family isn't available or cannot transport, staff can either transport in an Easter Seals vehicle if one is available, or arrange for a taxi or public transportation if possible. There is one exception to this rule. When an Easter Seals employee is also employed by a client's family to care for the client either before or after the employee's work shift, and they are transporting the client either to or from an Easter Seals facility. However, prior to the staff member transporting the client, they must complete a form entitled Transporting and/or Caring for Client Outside of Employee Acknowledgement. This form must be reviewed and approved by the President and CEO. After the form is approved, the staff member will be notified they have permission to transport, and the form will be kept in the client's file. Background checks and procedures. We ask a lot of questions about you and your history for good reason. We need to know everything we ask to ensure we protect the people we serve. It's the right thing to do, and it's the law. We ask for a local law enforcement criminal history background check. This reports any arrest or convictions you may have on your record in your local area over your entire lifetime. The hiring supervisor is responsible for running the local law check when the new hire paperwork is completed. The Level 2 live scan checks for any arrests or convictions you may have on your record for the entire country over your lifetime. The supervisor provides HR with the completed live scan form, and the HR department schedules the live scan appointment. Once the live scan results are received and cleared by HR, the new hire is allowed to start. All employees and any volunteers working more than 10 hours per month must have a Level 2 live scan completed. No employee or volunteer can start work until HR receives and clears the live scan results. Applicants must be honest on their application. If something comes up in the criminal history or motor vehicle background check, as long as it was disclosed on the application, it doesn't always disqualify an applicant from being hired. However, failure to be honest on the application will immediately disqualify an applicant from being employed with Easter Seals, Florida. As a drug-free workplace, hiring supervisors provide the pre-employment drug testing package to their new hire, and the new hire must complete the drug test within 3 business days of an employment offer. Will you be driving for the organization? We run a motor vehicle background check for all employees driving for the organization. This background check is only for the last 3 years. Hiring supervisors perform any licensing or credential checks for new hires. They use the Florida licensing website to perform these types of background checks. Additionally, hiring supervisors perform any reference, certification, and educational requirements are checked for their new hires. You are almost at the end of completing the corporate compliance trainings. This was the 4th installment, only one to go. Please be sure to sign back into www.esuonline.org to move on to your next step. Remember, in order to receive credit, you will need to complete all 5 videos.